I loved those answers. I loved those answers. I mean, he wasn't going to back down. He said, first of all, he's responsible for so much job creation, wealth creation. You know, to compare his salary to the workers, the way she was doing, you know, it's kind of apples and oranges. But also he's saying, look, I didn't have anything to do with it. The board pays me. And why would I give it back? What would that help? What'd you think?
It's a lot like when some of these billionaires are asked about the tax situation. They say we ought to pay more. My answer is, hey, write a check. There's nothing in the law that says you can't pay more than you're currently paying. If Jamie Dimon wants to give back some of his salary, if he wants to spread it out to some of his employees, he can certainly do that. It's a little disingenuous on one hand to act like I'm a moral giant and I think the pay gap's too big. And then on the other hand to say, yeah, I'm part of the pay gap. But I'm not doing anything about it. I think the real problem, Melissa, comes down to the governance of many of the corporations. There's too much cross-pollination between boards, where a buddy puts his buddy on his board, then he gets on his buddy's board. They make sure they take good care of each other to the extent that they don't always look after rewarding the employees who made them that rich in the first place. I have great admiration for companies who, when they have a great quarter or a great year, they give some of that, if not a lot of that money, back to the employees. What a great incentive to make the employees want to do it again, and what a smart way to run a company.
Well, he has a lot of people that want to work there, and he's the only guy who's still standing as one of the head of those banks that went through the financial crisis. So he must be doing something right vis-a-vis his employees.
If he feels really guilty about how much he makes, I'll give him my personal address and wiring instructions. He can send it to me. I won't feel guilty at all for what he sends.
But the reason why they got into that conversation, of course, is because Elizabeth Warren, you know, pointed him out and talked about the wealth gap and talked about people being paid way too much. And he was saying, I don't think that vilifying rich people doesn't get us anywhere. I mean, there is something to the argument that someone who has worked hard and has amassed a fortune, that's what we aspire to. You don't want to take away theirs. You want to grow yours.
Well, exactly. How much he makes affects me none whatsoever. I think the bigger issue is that we need to make sure that we don't buy this nonsense that we want the government to start limiting people's paychecks.
Yes.
Boy, oh boy, would that ever be a mistake. And that's what Elizabeth Warren and Bernie Sanders and some of the Democrats want to do. They want the government to step in and start regulating how much a company can pay. If a company overpays, ultimately its customers, its employees will do their own damage to the company. And a smart play, as I said before, when a company shares its wealth with its employees, and for that matter, even with its customers, that's a good way to stay in business for the long term and continue to be profitable. But boy, I say it again, please, dear God, don't let the government start regulating how much companies pay their people.
Yeah, we don't want them involved. Governor Huckabee, thank you.
Good to talk to you, Melissa. Thanks.